Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast we bring you each and every week. If you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, and drop a like on the video, we'd really appreciate it. We have a couple of special guests with us tonight. We flow from one Legends 11 game into another Legends 11 game, and never ends, really. So we do have a couple of guests with us from BlackRock Social Group, David and Kevin. So we're going to get talking with them shortly. We're going to get a bit of background to what BlackRock Social Group is. And then we'll talk about the match that's coming up and all that kind of stuff. But before we do that, we'll go into, where am I? Yeah, Hogan Elite Trophy hire. Mark, our sponsors for this season. Talk to me.
Yeah, such a busy week. Obviously, with the Legends 11 game last week in Airfield. And then on Friday night, I was with one of your old mates. I was with Stevie G in Vicar Street. Got a phone call to bring the trophies down to Vicar Street on Friday night to Stephen Gerrard's for an evening with him and stuff. So there's myself and Stevie with the
lads. This is a United fan. This is a United fan.
Lads, I'm a United fan, so but it was a great evening. Just sitting there listening to the stories about Istanbul and the change room and stuff like that. It was an excellent night, very well ran by Derek Irwin Turnside Promotions there. Yeah, so brilliant, and obviously we'll be in Dundalk now in 2 weeks, which is a good leadway into our two guests there. If you are late joining us, no, it's not the two Johnnies from RTE.
Even better.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wish some of our Johnny cried.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we get into it. We go into it with the boys from BlackRock Social Group. David, kick us off there. Give us a bit of background to BlackRock Social Group, what it is, what they do, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm Kevin, so I'll lead out to David.
Kevin, you do it.
David's got all the statistics and all that. I can do the waffle. So pretty much BlackRock Social Group. So we're a community group, and we fundraise for the community. We run fun events. It's a not-for-profit organization. Gary Lennon started it off. He's a founding member of it. He's not here today. Now, we had a busy day yesterday. We had a raft race for the locality, and so we can't be here. But pretty much that's what we do. We organize events. There's volunteers. There could be 30, 40 volunteers. We do the St. Patrick's Day Parade. We do the Christmas lights. Sandy comes, gives the kids presents. There's always, like, if it doesn't work without sponsors, credit union, we've honored Mardix on board this year. But all the businesses in BlackRock have always supported any of our events. So we have a raft race as well. We kind of kicked off with it as well. So that's what we do. Volunteer group. Anyone's welcome to join. So
I've seen a video on the Facebook page of the raft race there. Yes, it looked class. It looked like a great crowd at it and stuff like that. It looked very good.
It was a great crowd. It was the first year that we didn't use the water. If you noticed that.
Yeah, I did. I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, no, it looked really good in fairness. But it's all about, you just see the kids there on an afternoon at the weekends. They look like they were having great fun, and that's what it's about, you know.
That's what it's about. Like there was a problem with the water. There's a bit of sewage and stuff, not sewage, but seaweed that's been fertilized by sewage and it's letting off this effluent, and it's probably polluted, but we don't know. So we said it's just safer to keep out of it. Yeah. We didn't want to cancel the day, and Gary Lennon just made sure that the day went ahead. He says, right, look, we focus on everything else. We'll do a race. We'll organize a bit of a challenge on the beach. We had tug of war. Even it kind of went a bit back because the rope broke in the middle during the tug of war match. We had the Army one side and we had the Uniquely the other side, another one of our sponsors. And they were heavy in it, just about to do the big tug, and the rope just snapped. We went again with another bit. It was a proper tug of war rope, like with that 3-inch thick or whatever it is. But it had been weathered. We had, so look, we need a new rope next.
Well, that's the epitome of being dynamic, isn't it? Having a raft race organised and then you can't use the water. Tell you, fair play, lads.
You can't use the water. But they carried the rafts, so that was it. The race was they had to put the rafts on their shoulder and run. So
brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Diversity, as you say, that was good.
Brilliant. Well, as we know, we're here to preview a Legends 11 game. Man United Legends 11 are going to be playing. BlackRock Social Group have organised this match up in Rock Celtic. So just to let you know, folks, Instagram and Facebook page is down below in the description. Give the lads a follow and all the support you can. And also the most important thing, there's a link to the Eventbrite page where you can pick up the tickets both for the match, the meet and greet, the dinner dance after, the usual. We know the setup at this stage for these Legends games. Tell us, lads, this can be quite an undertaking, these Legends games. How have you found preparing for the Legends game itself?
David?
Yeah, there's a fair bit to it. I suppose we took it on knowing it'd be a good event, but yeah, the more we get into it now, we realize it's quite there's an awful lot of effort needed. So we've less than 2 weeks to go, thankfully. So bit to do yet, but yeah, it's taken up a fair bit of time now. Stress levels are high, but we're looking forward to it. It should be a good event. We can't wait now.
Yeah, it's worth it on the day, though. It's worth it.
Word on the day, there is a bit of a hype building up now about it. The kids are getting excited. The older people who's playing's getting excited. You know, they're rubbing their fucking calves and they're getting themselves ready. Is the hamstring going to hold up? Is it going to do this? So there's worry out there too for the Rock Celtic Legends. You know, some of them haven't seen a football in I don't know how long. You know, but they've been practicing. There's been 33 or 34 of them out there practicing solid for the last 7 or 8 Fridays. We'd one injury, but he won't be able to play. But we'll carry him out or something. It'll be okay.
Mark will tell you from going to these matches, these boys take this very serious.
Yeah,
very serious.
The Man United Legends or the local Legends?
The Man United Legends.
Oh, and the local legends. A few of them want to make a name for themselves, you know, that sort of way.
Yeah. I did hear of a couple of guys that tried to put their stamp on, say, the Man United Legends, whether it be Yapstam or Wes Brown, and they were found out that they're not just as easy to push over as you'd imagine. And they can gang up in the two, I believe.
Big time.
And if you want a heads up, the real one to fear is Brian McClare, because he's the crafty one out there.
Is he going to dog you?
He's
going to dog you, bend your ear during the match.
He'll give you all the guff you want, 100%.
Yeah, I know, he's very good. I met Brian McClare. He was here now last year, and he's a really good guy, really nice
he's
man.
topsy. So that's your lineup so far, isn't it? Yapstam, Karol Poborski, Brian McClare, Keith Gillespie, Wes Brown, Chris Eagles, Clayton Blackmore, and Eric Jemba. And you have someone to announce, you told us earlier. Who's the latest announcement?
We've two more. So Neil Webb is also playing. And then hot off the press, we've just got confirmation this evening that Lee Sharp will also be there. He'll be playing on the day.
Class.
So
Mark's a big fan of both.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah, myself and Neil have had many discussions together about Brian Clough and Sir Alex. Neil, some of the stories he tells is unbelievable, you know. And Lee was with him along for last year. Excellent, unbelievable. The crowd do love him, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks, I just want to say as well, just these are always really, really good causes. So you do not have to be a Man United fan whatsoever. You will have a great day meeting these guys. And just to put it in perspective, the meet and greet, I'm a Liverpool man, the meet and greet for Stevie G the other night was about 170 quid. The meet and greet for this lineup here is €20, I think, as far as I know, on Eventbrite. Take advantage of it, folks. Meet these guys. These are all legends of the Premier League era and also Man United legends. So make sure you check that out as well. Let's get into the chat. Dino's in. Absolutely. Can we just mention Ian's, mate? Absolutely. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Johnny. He's a bandmate of Ian, a friend of ours who's taken into hospital and hasn't gone too well. He took a bit of a turn, stuff like that. He's in the induced coma. So we're thinking about Johnny and his family, and of course all the boys from Soldiers of Fortune, including Ian and all at this time, you know, real tough time. So we'll think of this absolutely. Philip's in. Hi Niall and Mark. Big up, Phil. Big up. Evening, lads. Tiernan's in as well. Round's in as well. All in. Phillips in as well. Our star Baz and Maz Baz going to be sponsored.
There's always one. There's always one.
Philip, if Star Baz and Maz Baz want to sponsor, they're more than welcome. the common sponsor. We welcome
100%.
all sponsors.
Just to let you know, Philip is a Shelburne fan, so he's been up there many a time to Oriel Park, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
Look at fair play than sticking with Shelburne. That's tough.
Big time.
More tougher trips than celebrations, I'd imagine as well.
Very
big
true.
up, Baz. Good to see you in the chat there as well, pal. Yeah, so tell everyone kind of on the day. What's the rundown on the day? We know it at the back of our hands this stage. So you're gonna have, what way you doing? You're doing your meet and greet first, then the match, and then the dinner.
Yeah, so there's a pub in Blackrock now that the owner of it's a bit of a legend, but it's Uncle Tom's Cabin in Blackrock. So the meet and greet's there at 12 o'clock. Pub be open from 11. Lads want to go in and get a couple of minerals for the kids, bags of crisps, whatever, and then they go out there's a big sports bar to the back of it. So they'll be lined up your 10 legends. So go in the queue. They get a couple of minutes to speak with each legend, and they get to bring an item you want signed. So kind of the trophies will be there too. You'll have the FA Cup and the Champions League trophy. A great photo day for great to meet your legend, get your memorabilia signed, quick chat, get your picture taken with the cups from the Premier League, the FA Cup and the Champions League. So these are all cups the Man United would have won down through the years. So that's the lineup for the meet and greet. But then the players themselves then will go for a few refreshments and get ticketed up to go up to the match. So it's up to Rock Celtic then for 3 o'clock. So kickoff's 3 o'clock, so the gates will probably open 2:30, I'd imagine. So expect a big crowd. Capacity is probably between 1,200 and 1,300 people. We're probably another 400 or 500 tickets available. I reckon it's just people holding off going, right, well, they'll be available. But I know at least 100 people is saying, oh yeah, I must get them. Yeah. So we'd encourage anyone that really wants to get them tickets to do that now, and don't be waiting to the day, because you'll be, to avoid disappointment. The match will kick off. We have a couple of great mascots going on, the people that deserve to walk out and hold the legend's hand. The players themselves, there's 3 matches on the day. So the Man United legends, unfortunately, have to play all 3. Our guys get to play again in 3 20-minute sessions. Should be a really great showcase of sport. Like some really talented footballers. You're on about Liverpool. The Liverpool legends were here last year. Derek Laney scored a whopper of a goal from the 40-yard mark, kind of a Stevie G goal as well. It was like dipped it in over his head. There's a clip of that somewhere. But he's playing again, so he's hoping to do it here too. So it'll be one to watch. Yeah, he's talented. Yeah, well, he reckons his knee's sore, but I think he's playing hard to get. I don't know what time, he's sleeping.
At
the end of the day, so the match itself will be big. There'll be Mullins, be Chippy there on the day. There'll be rock salt coffee. There'll be ice cream. There'll be a tuck shop. There'll be a bit of a raffle. The legends will probably say 1 or 2 words. Hopefully the weather comes out and the match itself is brilliant. If it does, the weather will highlight it. So then that day, then there'll probably be an hour or 2 where the legends can go and maybe lubricate or cool down or whatever they have to do before they're get the vocals going for the actual gala dance. So in the Pharaohs Hotel, the gala dance will be at 8 o'clock. I think it's the start. So 7:30 maybe would be a good time to land. Tommy Lennon's on the microphone. Really, really dangerous because he's a massive Chelsea fan, but he's also great with a mic and he's a good character. So he'll bring a bit of entertainment, and Brian McClare will probably do a lot of talking, I'd imagine. He's got a great way with words. So looking forward to some of Lee Sharp's stories at the dinner dance, So that's the dinner dance will be also Jamba and all their stories, but them two for me, especially, I'm looking forward to their end of things. Then the dinner will happen. I think the dinner probably first, then the chat, and then there'll be a few drinks and a bit of music. The crack will be good, and then everybody.
A little unknown fact: my co-host here was practically reared in a pub called Uncle Tom's Cabin. But there you
But
go.
yeah,
There you go.
in Dundrum, in
Dundrum.
in Dublin.
Two
My mum and
10
dad
minutes
loved
from
it,
his
Uncle
house.
Tom's Cabin. Yeah, when
there
I
you
seen it, when Brownlow said to me, Uncle Tom's is the meet and greet, I was like, Uncle Tom's, Jesus, happy days.
Probably conceived because of it.
Yeah, true that. It should be called Tom. It should be called
There
Tom,
you
really.
Oh, very good. That's
Another
terrible.
fun fact, I do actually have an Uncle Tom.
There you
There you
go.
go. There
Just
you
written in
go.
the
So there
stars.
you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, I have to
Um,
say, Brian McClare, just a dry wit. We were in Ballyfair, playing against Ballyfairmouth last year. We went back to the hotel, and there was a few stories, and particularly from Chris Eagle, told in the dressing room. And you wouldn't think it. Chucky's just tying up his laces, doing the shin guards, and he's obviously taking it all in. And then he started absolutely slating Chris Eagles, taking the piss out of him at the tee. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Just the way he does it, like, you know.
McClare is
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
If you ask him about the match against Sheriff, he literally dressed them all down on the pitch, didn't he? He was brilliant.
Oh, brilliant.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Lads, do you want to give a shout out to some of the main sponsors you have there or anyone who was involved? And
Yeah, look at Anard, as I said earlier, Anard Mardricks have come on board. Massive sponsors this year. The credit union have always sponsored our events. There's like sponsors buying tables. So like you have the local pubs, you have the Neptune, you have the Bayview, like the Breaker sponsoring ads because it'd be a busy day for them. They might be able to go themselves, but they're, the entire village is behind it. Who else have I there? I'm not mentioning.
Dole Fruit,
massive, yeah.
Yeah, we have a list of people who've been very generous. Blackstone Motors, Sorahan Whiskey, Kelleher Insurance, Barry Henry Electrical, MacFar, Sailor Sharkey. We've been great support. Uniquely, as well.
Blackstone Motors. Yeah, Blackstone Motors got us a great video there for.
Oh yeah, Al Four and the
brilliant.
Yeah, very good.
Blackstone Motors sponsored him to do that. It was really. I thought it was very. Yeah. I thought it was a fella having a bit of a turn at the start when I told him. Unfortunately, I didn't know. And then as he got
Sir Alex.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh no, what's wrong with this dude?"
He's very good.
He's very good.
Yeah,
very, very good. Yeah.
Really
I believe the pitch is in good nick down in Rock Celtic as well.
Yeah, we had Hagerstown Garden Centre working very, very hard.
Brilliant.
And they for free, believe it or not.
Brilliant.
They're also coming to the event. They have a table. Well, they have a table in reserve. They didn't pay for it yet, but that'll be a common occurrence. But they'll come late.
Love it.
And we've Breen Plumbing then as well. They're supposed to be coming on board.
Brilliant.
Michal Breen Plumbing, so he's another good gas. And did we forget anyone there before we do move on? We've Barney Cowley.
Credit Union.
Yeah, and we said that McCallans. Yeah, look at
and there's a bit of music after the dinner then and all.
Yeah, we have a DJ after. So it was actually, rather than tying ourselves to right, the legends have to stop talking because the music has to start. We said the DJ, they're easier to say, right, look, we just don't want to hear you yet, So hopefully the legends can talk and take up the whole night and a wee bit of music or whatever at the end. So the main thing they're coming to see is the standout legends there on the day,
Absolutely, yeah. And hopefully it'll be a huge success for you as well. And we'll mention it again next week on our show as well, and we'll send you on a link to this show and all. And I would say, listen, all the success in the world with it, and thanks a million for coming on, and absolutely brilliant. All this work going on with Legends 11 and yourselves and all these other different matches that have been put together. It's just getting grown from strength to strength and all that kind of stuff. So
it doesn't work without the public behind it, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, and it's brilliant. You guys look like you put in a lot of work there. That's a massive list of sponsors as well. So fair play to you for the work you've done.
And I always say to the lads on the day, try to enjoy the day. There's been this build up for the last 6 to 10 months, whatever it has been. The day goes like that, but just make sure you enjoy it and take it all in as well. That's all right.
Have a good time.
You probably don't have to tell us that.
Well, it's amazing. You go
we'll
to
enjoy it.
Yeah, too right.
But I do understand the pressure of the day. And then it just goes so quick. Yeah,
100%. But sure, we'll have a point together down in Uncle Tom's in the next week.
No, definitely, drop in. Yeah, I'll buy it. Go on. And that guy his uncle is Tom.
There you go. Absolutely brilliant. Well, listen, lads, appreciate you coming on. Thanks a million. And
thanks
we'll touch base, which is probably next week. Welcome, anytime.
See you
lads. Take care.
Now. let's take some comments first. Dano's in. 170 quid for Stevie J. Are the family running short of money after that slip?
The goal ticket was actually, I think, deal round if you're selling. I think it was 300 and something for the goal ticket, or it might have been 423 for the goal ticket or something. And funny enough, well, not funny enough, I had gone up to meet Neve, Derek's wife, who's the promoter. This woman came in crying. She arrived at the show at 7:45. She had bought herself and her 4 kids gold tickets, right? So you can only imagine how much that was. She didn't realise the meet and greet started at 5:00. She was in at the reception crying at 7:45. Fair play to Neve and Derek. They sorted out. They got to meet him afterwards and stuff like that, get a few pictures taken. But she said that she saved for ages for it, and that she came in from a newt with the kids and they looked after her, brought her backstage. So me and Rowan were backstage after, waiting, and yeah, she got the picture taken and stuff. So fair play, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, that's phenomenal. Right, so we want to where do we begin? Let's talk about this first of all. Some changes coming in this season. What have you made of this? If it's not intrusive enough with social media and Amazon documentaries and Netflix documentaries, now they're going to be shoving this up in people's faces. This is going to be a little weird, isn't it? Because most substitutions don't tend to be happy substitutions unless they're kind of injuries or whatever. People don't be happy.
I'm not a fan of it, if I'm being honest. When I seen it, I still remember. If you remember ITV used to show the Champions League games, and they'd always interview Sir Alex. And the second half be just kicking off, they'd interview him at half time. So you'll always see in all matches Sir Alex walking down the touchline as the game has already been kicked off and stuff. But I'm not a big fan of it. Like, you know, just interview them after the game, leave them be. You know, there is going to be a lot of frustration from the players. You're probably going to hear a lot of effing and blinding and stuff like that. So it wouldn't be the biggest.
They're doing it at the moment in the World Club Cup, and it's a bit weird as well because they're coming up to interview the players. The players' brains are probably like Malik from the heat exhaustion and everything out there at the moment. Though.
It's very American, isn't it? Like, you know, they do that in the NFL and stuff like that and all. So I'm not a big fan.
We shall see how it goes. But I think it's I think this might be a step too far. I know I can guarantee you absolutely. If Jurgen Klopp was still in charge at Liverpool, this would never happen. Because he was adamant that shouldn't happen. Just to let you know, folks, in the World Club Cup at the moment as well, it's 1-0 to Fluminense against Inter Milan. Cano with the goal after 3 minutes. 60 minutes gone on that. Inter Milan could be going out. That would be an upset, even though Fluminense are a very, very good side. And didn't the boy Andre come from there? Didn't he? Who was signed? He came from Fluminense there a few years ago. So, but we'll keep an eye on this. I think this is something they're going to have to kind of trial it and see how they feel about it, because they're talking about interviews as well, you know, in the interview area on the inside as well at half time. That's a busy time for people, that half-time period, you know what I mean? So
you only have 15 minutes there, so obviously when you're coming back out, you want to be in the dugout for when the second half kicks off.
Absolutely.
So it's moving into that kind of big kind of theatre style type of thing. I'm not massive fan of it.
Yeah. We will get to talk about transfers, but I wanted to highlight these two this week. Obviously, Keith Andrews confirmed as Brentford manager.
Yes.
Get your thoughts on that. And obviously, Seamus Coleman signing up for another year at Everton. And he's now, I think, is he the oldest? He's the longest serving player in the Prem now at the moment.
Yeah, and I think the FAI put a thing up about him, Seamus Coleman through the years, to see him in the green jersey from when he was a young lad, a little whippet, and he's built into this, you know, character that he's the captain of Everton. He died for the shirt, and he's played like that for Ireland as well. You know, deservedly so. Cost, what was it, 60,000 from Sligo Rovers at the time? An absolute bargain. And no doubt when he does eventually retire, I think he'll take up a coaching position within Everton, you know.
I think it's fitting that he leads them out one more season because of the new ground and all.
Yeah. To see.
I think if you've spent that amount of time there, 17 seasons, I think it would be nice to.
And listen, obviously, Moisey rates him obviously from his first time round, and He's a massive influence on a lot of the younger players and stuff like that as well. So he's one of those players you want to have around the change room. I can only imagine, like we've heard stories about his team talks in the changing room. He's like a manager, his passion and this, that, and the other. Frank Lampard couldn't speak highly of him when he worked with him at Everton. He's just one of those characters you just want around the club. You know, he brings that little bit extra, and they're very rare nowadays to have a character like Seamus Coleman in the changing room. You know, and you have to hold on to him.
Yeah. Absolutely, and especially while Everton transition into the new ground and players leave and players coming in, a real new feel for it.
Exactly.
You need that guy who bleeds that blue of Everton in there to make sure that people come in under the right kind of circumstances and all. Not often these three boys would agree, especially not Pep and Klopp. But they went on. Klopp turned around and said the Club World Cup is the worst idea in the history of football. Guardiola said, I agree with Klopp. This could destroy our players and our 25-26 campaign. Maresca, it's a joke. This is not even the right place to host a competition. Where Maresca was coming from was the other night there was 4.5 minutes to play. There was a thunder and lightning warning. They had to leave the pitch and they were off the pitch for 2 hours. They had to wait around for 2 hours and come back out to play that last 4.5 minutes or whatever it was.
Madness.
Which is just crazy. But I do understand from being in the States quite a bit. It is quite serious over there. It's not kind of like over here where we think, bit of lightning, bit of rain, it's grand. Should we get out there and have an Elgar match or whatever, you know? There, people do get killed from this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so you do have to take it serious. But yeah, I think it's just weird. What you're thinking on this from the player welfare side of things? No?
It's not great, and like seeing Guardiola. He said the Premier League, himself, that all the managers have had meetings with the Premier League. Premier League had meetings with UEFA and FIFA and stuff like that to try sort it. It's a long season from them. You know, they're after coming in from the tournament last summer, international tournament into the season, then they're straight back into the Club World Cup without any rest. They'll probably have a week off after this before the pre-season friendly starts then or something like that, maybe. And
I don't think they're even gonna have a week off because pre-season. Well, maybe the friendlies, but pre-season starts end of next week or beginning of the following week.
Yeah. So but you think the likes of the City players and the Chelsea players might get a week away where they just with their family relax, recharge the batteries, but then they're straight back into it. Like that's only a week. This is going to start hitting them. Like in December time, when you're playing every other day in December, you're going to see a lot of injuries and tiredness, and not only physically tired but mentally tired as well.
Yeah, well, that's what we spoke about last season. Remember some of these stupid tours and stuff like that the teams went on, and we said, look, this is just going to lead to hamstrings, ACLs, all this kind of thing. And straight away we were right. Remember last season, just boom, players just dropping
exactly.
And the thing where they're coming from as well is they're coming from. If the best players are getting injured and you can't field your best 11 in a consistent basis, or they get like Rodri gone for the season, it dilutes the brand Premier League because you're not playing the best teams and stuff like that. No, and that's where the real concern is. And I think Pep even mentioned it in his interview. He goes, "We want to play our best players, but if they get injured, what can you do?" So I think we'll keep an eye on it. But I think it's absolutely crazy, But I think the problem that you have is we're going to see more and more of this. Like you think about it, if Chelsea or Man City get to the final, they're going to be nearly straight into touring at the end of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it finishes until around the 13th or 14th or something like that.
I think it's the 13th is the final, isn't it? 13th of July.
Dino saying, couldn't agree more about the Club World Cup. So happy the Reds got the long break after winning the league. The rest worth more than any money, especially the World Cup next year. Yeah, then they got the World Cup next year as well. It's insane,
Crazy.
You know what I mean. And then you're back into the Euros and Nations League and internationals and more demands and all that kind of stuff. It's crazy stuff. Right, let's talk. We're going to talk League of Ireland, obviously, a few bits in there to talk about and stuff like that, but we're going to talk transfers. And tonight I picked. I did a few things. We did the 6. We'll obviously get your thoughts on United as well, if you want to throw it out there. But tonight I picked the next kind of 6 teams, if you like. And what we said was we're going to do 5 or 6 teams every show in our build-up.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's really only going to take momentum this week because obviously tomorrow starts the brand new PSR FFP year.
Yeah.
financial fair FFP. Yeah, so we thought we'd kick it off. We go through it. Get your thoughts on. Obviously, Villa today we're hearing sold off the women's team like what Chelsea did. 55 million is the deal. So they're obviously in serious PSR troubles there. So having to go to that's a huge step, and we've seen that the predicament Chelsea were in as well.
Yeah.
But I'm not too sure Villa are going to be doing a whole lot of business, and there's players leaving as well. What you're thinking? Probably they also confirmed today they're not going to be taking up the buy option on Marcus Rashford, the 40 million one.
Yeah.
That was confirmed today as well, but I think that was common knowledge anyway.
Everything. Everyone on the dog.
What you're thinking of Villa at the moment, the predicament they find themselves in. I read today as well, 90 something. I read something about their wage bill. Did you read this? 97% of their revenue is their wage bill. So if anything goes skew ways, they're fucked.
Yeah.
No,
it's one of those, like, Emery came in and done so well, to get them into Champions League football. But with that, you have to build a bigger squad because you're playing more games and stuff throughout the season. And not only a bigger squad, but you need, strength and depth. You need quality there. So you have to go and get these big names. And unfortunately, nowadays, it doesn't matter if they're a big name or not. It costs a lot of money, not, particularly wages, never mind the transfer fee. And I think they're just finding it so hard with financial fair play, like you just mentioned there about the selling off the women's team, and obviously there's talk of Martinez been sold and Ollie Watkins. Randy,
big up Randy.
Ollie Watkins I've seen has been linked with us again today, and so it's a tough one for a Villa fan. You've had the highs of the last 2 or 3 seasons where you've been just reaching at the top of it. And it's kind of they're brought back down to earth slightly with what's going on. But listen, I think they'll still do very well. They have a great manager there in Emery. He shows that. I was just looking at the name when I came up. I thought very, very good. How you roll me? You should have known by the picture. Is that Trent in the picture?
It probably is, yeah. But he changes them all the time. Anyway, big up Romy. Thanks for joining us. It's Romy.
Randy snorting.
Randy snorting. Yeah,
love it.
I think it's worrying times for Villa. I think they're probably going to have to sell a few players as well, which is
definitely.
Going to put them in an interesting predicament. I think missing out on Champions League as well really kind of screw them.
That revenue as well.
That revenue is massive. Yeah, not much to talk about on Nottingham Forest. I think a lot of these teams where we've seen. Obviously, a lot of teams going to the World Club Cup wanted to get business done and stuff like that and get players in.
Yeah.
Joe Pedro as well being signed by Chelsea, 55 million or whatever it was, so they're doing a lot of work there. But I think now we're going to see a lot of these teams now starting to do work. Now they're in that new year, and that last year has dropped off of the 3 that they count. Exactly. So not a lot to report in terms of Nottingham Forest. Alanga, they turned down 45 million, I think it was, from Newcastle for Anthony Alanga. So we'll see what way Forest kind of evolves. There hasn't been a whole lot that happens there. Tottenham again, probably not a huge amount going on. Obviously, Kevin Danso came in from Lens for just shy of 21 million. And obviously Matthias Tell, they confirmed the purchase of him, 29.8 million. Who was playing there? I think he was on loan last season.
Yeah, I think he played 10 or 12 games or something.
The boy. Yeah, so not a huge amount to talk about there. Bournemouth is the one for me that's going to be interesting. Junior Krupo coming in from Lorient and Shrifford coming in from Rennes for 14.3 million. But it's the outs where I would be concerned for Bournemouth. Kerkez gone to us, Huyson gone to Real, Jaden Anthony gone to Burnley, Jebson gone to Preston, and Max Aaron's gone to Rangers, both loan deals there.
Yeah.
They're losing a lot of bodies, aren't they? And it looks like more is going to happen as well. How are you feeling about Bournemouth?
Yeah, it's sad to see because obviously last season to watch them play the style of football they were playing, and you look you look at obviously Kirkhead's going to yourselves. He was instrumental in getting up and down that left-hand side, creating goals and scoring a few along the way and stuff, and some of the link-up play up top and stuff. So they're going to find it very difficult. I think they're a few players that they got and have really come good, and that they're very hard to find, those players. So I think they could struggle next season. It depends who they bring in, but I don't think they get to the heights of what they did last season, in terms of the run that went on and how well they played and the results they got against some of the bigger teams and all,
Because they have a lot of really tidy players there as well that a lot of teams will be looking at, like they're making good money. Like the 50 for Huijsen is decent money, although he was like, he's a very, very good player, and obviously.
What does Romy think of him coming into Madrid? Obviously, Romy's a Madrid fan, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a Madrid fan. Yeah, I think he's happy enough. I think he one of the first games, I think, in the World Club Cup or something like that, it was a bit iffy or something like that. But after that, I think he's been okay, So looks like he's been okay.
Well, listen, they still have the likes of Semenyo, Kluivert, these types of players that are Evan Nielsen as well. But you just feel that other clubs might still come in and see what's happening there and go in for them as well,
Yeah, I think the big one there, I think, is that like they're you might get someone coming in for the likes of Murillo or the Milinkovic guy at the back, the two centre backs or something like that. They were amazing last season, so if they lose them, that would be an issue. Romy's in. Does Wolves have Dixon's real deal on their board, selling like a car boot sale? Yeah, it's just I don't know. Gonzalo, I like him. He's a little baller. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Let's talk Wolves then. Ian Fer Lopez himself at 19.5 million. But again, going out the door, Mateus Cunha, Ait-Nouri, Pablo Sarabia, Craig Dawson, Ken Campbell. Losing big players as well, aren't they?
Yeah, obviously, I think the top two players there are the ones that really stick out. Obviously, Dawson was always going to be released. Yeah, very, very tough. Again, they were kind of had an up and down season last season, but two of their top players there from one end of the pitch to the other leave early doors. So, it could work out that they have, money to spend, but it's how he's going to spend it and what players he can bring in and stuff. And then you would be worried about a few other players leaving along the way as well,
Yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of a roundup of the transfers at the moment. Talk to me about United then. I had Darren on Thursday. Yes. He gave me his thoughts and opinions on it and stuff like that. What you're thinking at it at the moment? Money seems to be a key factor at the moment. Obviously, Cunha's come in the door. Very, very good signing. Premier League proven, which is the moniker for this transfer window by the sounds of things with everyone. What have you made of him, Buemo? I thought it was a little bit weird because he has expressed the only place he wants to go is you guys. He's all in on Man United. No one else is in for him then. And yet Brentford are still bending you over a barrel when you are the only show in town.
Yeah. And listen, it's happened to us over the years where this has gone on, and we're used to it. I was told during the week the deal was already done by someone I won't mention, but I was told the deal is done. It was more towards the 70 than the 60. Personal terms had been agreed, and that the medical was booked in for this week, some stage. Can't remember what day. That's what I was told. But yeah, it's one of those, because you know yourself when you're dealing with Manchester United, every clubs try to get
United tax.
We've talked about it on this podcast before. They try to squeeze every little bit of money they can out of it. It'd be good to get it over the line and then look to maybe get a proper striker in. What did he say?
He said Cunha has a good eye for goal. He could place a ball in the top bins of Caitlin Jenner's.
No, getting out and out striker, have the two lads play off him, and then where I would be going for him is looking at a goalkeeper then, and obviously getting rid of it and getting a solid keeper in there as well, because you need that as a basis for your team.
Yeah, you're spot on, Dino. And not only that, Wolves, they don't have that padded out squad either. Like, they're quite tight in who they have when you go look at the bench and stuff like that. And also, spot on, yeah. Any reservations on Cunha? I mean, obviously we wax lyrical about him here on the podcast all last season, but not beyond throwing a little bit of a strap at times and having a little bit of a hissy fit, let's say. Would you be concerned in that area at all?
Yeah, obviously you would be, but at the same time, he's coming into a new club, clean slate. you'd like to think, no disrespect to Wolves, we're at the higher end of the football elite teams in the world, and with that comes stricter rules and bigger aspirations for him to do well. And I think Ruben obviously had an eye on him for a while. He's not one that would take bullshit or anything like that easily. He'll put you back into your place, and I think that's what he needs. Listen, I think he'll do well. I think, again, like I said, this is a new start for him. He'll be on his best behaviour. I think, new club, you want to impress. So I think that will be the case. But listen, it's like anything, when we're playing, even if I'm playing bleeding five-a-side, there's still a switch that goes off in my head. What happens, it's just a personality thing. It can happen, but I don't think it will be as much as what we've seen for Wolves.
Yeah, Wolves would have been slightly looser, I would imagine. What else are you looking at coming in, or what else would you like to see coming in? I mean, obviously you need a centre forward. And obviously you mentioned the goalkeeper there and stuff like that. Would you expect to see, now that you're again in the new year, keep on mentioning this from tomorrow, are you going to see Man United now move and stuff like that? What about the outgoings? Obviously a lot of Amarin's transfer budget is caught up in those 4 or 5 guys that need to go out the door. There's a lot of talk that they're going to stick. There's a lot of talk that they'll be there for pre-season training. There's a lot of talk that they don't want to cut the wage. There's a lot of talk that they may end up going out on loan deals. I've seen talk today with Barcelona and Rashford that he's happy to change his money down, which is the first time we've heard that, and that he'd be happy to go on a loan and stuff like that and all. But I often find with these loan deals, these problems that you have inherently in the club, if they keep on being loan deals, you're just kicking the can down the road, down the road.
Look at Lukaku with Chelsea.
Yeah, but I'm thinking as well, there's the guts of, if you think about those players that's involved, what is there? The guts of maybe 140 million there in money that would be freed up for Amarin to use in the transfer window. That may not happen if you're going down the road of loan deals then to just get these guys off site.
Exactly.
What you thinking on it?
Obviously, you love to sell Rashford and Garnacho now as well, obviously, with what's been going on and stuff. But it's tough. Rashford's obviously been touting himself out to a few clubs and they're not taking the bait. And now there's talk of loan deals, which isn't great. Obviously, you're getting them off the wage bill for a while. But like you said, it's like a revolving door. Your problem's going to swing back around at the end of the season or whatever the end of the contract for the loan deal is. So it is tougher. But I think at this stage, Ruben, if there is no option for a club to come in and buy him, you would send him out on loan because you'd rather have him away from the club, away from the training ground, in a different country, causing less trouble, not only for you, but for the players around you as well. Exactly. So you don't need that negativity. So I think a loan deal, if it's the only thing on the table, you have to take it. There's no doubt about it. And I think we've seen the effect he's had on the likes of, with him and Sancho and stuff like that. There's little clicks within in the training ground. You have to try to break them up. And if that's the case, just send them away and get rid of it. So be it,
Yeah, I think the article I read last week in the Manchester Evening News, I don't know whether it was Laurie Whitwell or whoever it was who wrote it, but they were saying that, like, once Mbeumo comes in, and Mbeumo and Cunha are the vast bulk of what you have to spend.
Yeah.
And then everything else you're trying to do, any other dealings you're trying to do, will have to come based on sales.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the kind of predicament you're in. And at the moment, you're looking at key areas. I mean, where you're looking at, obviously, goalkeeping and striker, which is that spine of your team.
Yeah, absolutely.
What way are you thinking?
Well, with Onana, I was never his biggest fan. I think a lot of the fan base would agree that I think one of the worst things we ever done was get rid of David De Gea. It's probably one of the worst decisions we made. Onana has just made too many mistakes. As you know, he came out and said at the start of this last season, I'm going to take a lot more risks. He was just basically covering his arse, and he's just been...
He did what he said.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. But like
literally.
He's just covering his arse. And to be fair, I think... Boyinder, I thought, would have made more of an impression coming into the team, but he also made mistakes as well, so it's tough. We need a solid keeper. Obviously, there's been links with Martinez and a few other keepers there. I'm still not fully kind of convinced on Martinez. I think he has that in him as well. That kind of...
Who's the keeper you want?
Do you know what? There's been so many keepers linked. Like I'm looking at it. There's like we talk about De Gea, and like I'd take De Gea back in an absolute heartbeat, that sort of way. I think he's solid. He knows the club inside out. But I think going out on your young keeper now, solid. With it's tough. I'd love. Do you know who I love? I love Sa off what's your man off Forest. Sales, not Saz off Wolves. Sales, I think he's a great goalkeeper. Solid, absolute solid, big, imposing. Like Onana's tall, but he's not imposing. Where Sales is an actual imposing goalkeeper. So I like someone like him.
Yeah, but it's definitely a situation where you can't see yourself August 16th, first game
No,
against Arsenal,
no.
or 17th, I think it is,
Wait.
or Sunday, aren't you?
Yeah,
Coming out and Onana between the sticks and Hoyland up front.
exactly.
It
Yeah,
just ain't going to work, So they're going to have to muster up the money from somewhere if it doesn't. Taylor's in thoughts on the Keane Andrews appointment. Kind of happy because it's an Irish. But I think if you're a Brentford fan or if you're the Brentford player, I think you might be looking at it going, you're losing Thomas Frank. You might have expected a step up.
a little bit underwhelming.
Yeah, a little bit underwhelming. Now, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Now, this will either, because Keith has obviously a relationship there as the set piece coach
Yeah,
and stuff.
exactly.
So there is a bit of continuity there. But
And
I think
it's not in terms of coaching as well. It's not his first rodeo, because obviously he's 10 years ago he took the assistant manager's role at MK Dons with Mark Robinson, and he's been working his way up. Obviously, he worked under Stephen Kenny as well. He's been doing a lot of Brentford, so he's building up this kind of coaching profile and portfolio. So it's a massive step up to be a Premier League manager. And in terms of, I don't think he's had to deal when you're a set piece coach, or you're under Stephen Kenny or you're under Mark Robinson. You don't get to have to deal.
You're protected.
Exactly. You don't have enough. You don't have enough dealings with the media and with this, that, and the other. So it's going to be interesting who he goes and picks himself with as his coaching staff. But it's going to be interesting to see how he does, whether he has that character, that balls to go out and actually be number one in a Premier League team. So listen, I wish him the best of luck. I hope he does really well. I know there's a few people out for him already, the likes of Martin O'Neill as well, for his criticism of Martin when he was coaching, when he was manager of Ireland. But I really do hope. Listen, it's very rare you get an Irishman managing a team, never mind in the Premier League. So it's great to see. But yeah, I hope he does well. I hope he's not. I hope Brentford don't go down.
Well, the concern is the players as well, isn't he? The likelihood is Mbuemo's going to go to you guys. The likelihood is Vissa might look for a move away. I know Nathan Collins was linked with us last week. I don't know how that's progressed in any way,
and he's been linked with Spurs again. He's been linked with Spurs again.
So that would be interesting if you lost those three players. That'd be a big loss, because you're really ripping the GA out of the team basically, and also the defender.
Exactly.
Nathan's done very well for Brentford in there and stuff like that, So it could be difficult times. Wait and see, but then we'll have to see what the recruitment is like if those three guys were to leave the building. So obviously they'd leave for decent money as well, So, but overall, it's going to be very difficult to judge it. As you said, he has been protected in some of those positions over time, but now he's to the forefront, if they say. I think if you're a Brentford, I seen Brentford fans on X the other day, and all they were going, "Yeah, let's get ready for the championship," straight away. So we shall see. We shall see. Romy and Buemo and Cunha together at the front, I will be cacking my trunks. Yeah, sweet, no joke. If I was a defender. I think they're two very, very good players, but I don't. I think it's being put up there big time. The butcher Martinez, the fella couldn't butcher a brisket. Yeah, I don't think he's.
Listen, he's been very unlucky with injuries and stuff like that. I've seen him play. He's in the right formation with the right players. Two lads beside him. I think he does very, very well. He's going
to be a squad player though, isn't he? Let's be honest here.
Well, it depends. Listen, it depends on Euro.
Because you're gonna play three at the back, aren't you? So,
yeah, the Ligt and Euro, and obviously, listen, Harry Maguire had a resurgence in form last season, and obviously Euro coming back from injury was a massive thing for us and stuff. So, I'd be Kieran McKenna.
Yeah,
Frank Gallagher.
very good.
That is shameless.
Knudsen from Bodo at Brentford would have cooked. Yeah, absolutely. Ange is lined up to take over at LAFC.
Yeah. Did Giroud just leave them? Did I see that? Or he's
Yeah,
training
he's
for that match
going
next
back.
week?
Isn't he going back to the French league or something like that? I read.
Yeah, seen that,
Where's he
yeah.
going back to? Is it Lille he's going to or something? Did I read?
Could be.
Lille, I think it is.
Good few going to Monaco now as well, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I heard Poch as well. Poch apparently was in for that Brentford job.
Really?
But they had spoken to him. Yeah, Darren was talking to me the other night about it, and I think he mentioned that Poch, they had a conversation with him, and they still went with Andrews. Now, I don't know whether that's, it has to be financial, doesn't it? Because it's not on the basis of experience or anything else.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, where else do we want to go? Right, we'll take some League of Ireland, will we?
Yeah.
We'll start off with the Premier League, which is becoming a bit of a procession, really.
Stop.
Thoughts?
I think was Philip, are you down in Galway? I know keep me friend Keith and my cousin David were in Galway on Friday night. This were sending me videos. I was just trying to look at some of the atmosphere. Oh my god.
Did you see the Sligo goal against Bowles?
Yeah.
Racker.
Unreal. Yeah, man. Eldon. Was it Eldon? Yeah, scored it. Yeah. But I felt for them. I thought they played very, very well, and obviously then Bowles come up and scored the 94th or 95th minute to make it 1-1. And Sligo, you know, on the road in Dublin, find it hard to get results. You know, a lot of their results come at home in the showgrounds. So I felt so bad for them. It was great cracking goal, great performance, keep Bowles at bay, and obviously they slip up in the very nearly the last kick of the game. So I really did feel for Sligo, you know. What
have you made of the Pats drop off?
Yeah, like you look at it, they've only scored one goal in the whole month of June. You know, it's you know, they started off really, really well, and it's taken a nosedive. I don't know where it's come from. It's taken an absolute nosedive. You know, they're getting beaten 1-0. You know, they drew 0-0 against Cork, who you know, Cork are going to take points off teams, but you know, you'll expect Pats to beat them, you know, given their squad and their strength and depth, and they're just struggling. To score one goal in the whole of June, like that's great. I think they played 6 or 7 games and only scored one goal. It's not good enough, you know. They're 6th in the table, you know. They find themselves they're lucky enough they're only 6 points off second place, but still they could be right up there. Given some of the results this month, they could. If it had went their way, they could have been up there, you know.
Yeah, it feels a bit like last season, doesn't it? Where there was a massive drop off, and then they suddenly came good in that end stretch.
Yeah,
but they left themselves way too much to do.
The last 10 to 11 games, they really went on a good run, and the momentum was with them. And we also said it here: if there had been another 3 or 4 games in the league, I think Pats would have went on and won it. I think they would have overtook Shells, and they would have overtook Rovers and gone on and won it, you know. And then they took that momentum in to the new season, started off really well, and yeah, it's gone down. I think they played Galway there a few weeks ago. It wasn't a great performance, and the confidence just seemed to nosedive, and you know, they really need to turn it around now, you know.
Yeah, struggling. Then Galway and Shelbourne 1-1.
Yeah, tough game.
Season of draws, isn't it? Season of draws.
Yeah, like it was tough, you know. We go and score in the first 20 odd minutes. Played all right. Galway created a good few chances to try to get back into it. We kept them at bay, and withstood a lot of pressure from them, particularly down there. It's hard, and they had a good crowd down there. But yeah, again, they get a goal late on. I think it was the 84th, 85th minute or something like that. And at that stage, when you can see that late heads drop, and particularly with the Shell team, what's happened over the last few weeks with Duffer and stuff like that, I had a bad feeling that after Galway scored that they'd go on and get a winner, but lucky enough they didn't. And yeah, we were looking against Waterford last week to hit the bar right at the death, but I just had a feeling Galway were going to nick it there towards the end, you know.
Galway is one of those teams that you have to admire, don't you? Because they're always at it, don't they? They never give up. They keep on going. They run for 90 minutes.
Exactly.
You know, and more. And they're never. You never feel in a lot of games that Galway, even if they drop behind, that they're out of the game.
Yeah.
You know, they're always
No,
still
no,
very dangerous.
good manager there, and a good experience as well, and
Yeah,
mixed in with a good few young lads as well. So they
yeah.
have a good. They're very tough to play against. You know.
Huge work ethic in there, in that coaching drive
Absolutely.
there and stuff like that, you know. And then obviously Shamrock Rovers shown what champions do, 1-0 against Waterford. That when you have to grind it out and you have to make it work, you do it, don't you?
Boy, did they! You know, I think they had a lot of possession in the game, and they created a good few chances, but Waterford just frustrated them, and I
I
think it was
think
filmed in Clare, wasn't it?
Clare, I think it's
Yeah, yeah.
Clare, yeah. It's on the border anyway. It's not far, like, but
I know. I think
Clare.
some of the opening titles were filmed near the Aran Islands and all that down there.
Yeah.
You know, the helicopter shot and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I think the house was down in Clare somewhere like
Yeah.
that. Romy. But yeah, no, like I said, Waterford frustrated Rovers. It looked like it was going to end in a 0-0. 15 minutes out, Rory Gaffney gets the goal for Rovers, and they see it out. Then Waterford didn't create too many chances. If I'm being honest, they did a few chances from set pieces and corners, but they done nothing to kind of really threaten them. And you know, it was a close game, obviously 1-0, but Rovers had a lot more of the possession and created the better chances, like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the table there, about you're spot on, Romy. Absolutely, they're Bayern Munich in the League of Ireland. They really are. Both Derry and Bowes, they're going to have to win both their games in hand, aren't they?
Yeah. To make
in order to push up there to make sort of an impact. With Shamrock Rovers now 48.
Yeah,
it's going to be pretty tough to drag it back in, especially when you know how Rovers operate as well. They tend to get stronger as the season goes on. You know,
yeah,
so
no,
you kind
exactly. It's one of those, like, they're a beast in itself. But I think I was just looking, like, Derry have Waterford at home. Won't be the easiest of games, and then Bows obviously come up against Pats. Pats away next Friday night. You know, Pats aren't playing great, but you know it's a big Dublin derby, plenty at stake as well. So it's going to be interesting. Shells at home to Cork,
especially Pat's form at the moment, because
exactly,
it's not a home thing or an away thing. It's a Pat's thing.
Exactly. And then obviously Shells have Cork at home. You'd be hoping that they pick up 3 points, and then it's a massive game on Saturday for Rovers away to Sligo. And the Sligo Rovers and Shamrock Rovers up in the showgrounds. Always a really good game on Saturday evening. So it should be an interesting weekend ahead for the league, you know.
It's looking like Rovers, though, isn't it?
It is. They have the experience. They have, you know, they've been in this position before. They've had so many times where they've been chasing it and then they get it. But they've also been in this position where they've sat nicely and tipped along, and they just wait for the teams underneath and just dismantle them. And like I said, with the likes of Bradley and Rice and all there, McPhail, sorry, they know what they're doing, you know.
I suppose the thinking is when the European football kicks in, it might destable things a little bit and give teams a bit of a chance.
It might, but I think they'll have, looking at it now, you know, you think they'd have a nice lead ahead of them with the points and stuff, that they'd be comfortable going into that. And of course, they balanced out before playing in Europe and balancing the league with it as well. So they're well capable of doing that.
Yeah, I think last season really, because they had such a good run in Europe, I think that's what kind of disabled them in terms of the league and stuff like that. And they were lucky in the end, unlucky in the end on the last day and stuff. But yeah, it's going to be a bit of a task for anyone else to get it done. But obviously pivotal for Derry and Bowes to pick up those key points that they have in hand, you know, on those games. Right, let's look at League One. Cove with a brilliant opportunity the other night to close the gap and make this a bit of a competition. And they come undone again. Dundalk winning 1-0.
Unbelievable. And obviously, Dundalk getting beaten last week for the first time. You know, Cove would have been looking at it going, we're up for this, you know. But it Dundalk performance. I seen that actually. Yeah, there's that's played in, what's it called down there, cuz the big
Cork.
Not
Turner's Cross.
No, not Turner's Cross. You know the I think it's Super Value Park now, but what's the original name of our Virgin Media Park or something? Parky Queevy or something like that.
Parky Quave.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Dundalk obviously scored early. They created some good chances. They had a few opportunities where they could have gone on to make it 2 or 3, and Cove kept them at bay, got back into the game. They had a late sending off, and that was it. But I thought they would have been, I thought they would have been right on Dundalk's on tails. I don't think 1-0 tell the whole story of the game, to be fair, you know.
No, absolutely not. And Bray bounced back with a big win against Athlone Town, but Bray have their form, especially through June, has been shocking.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been all over the place, haven't they? At times you think that they were going to catch leapfrog over Cove, but some of the results haven't been great.
Yeah.
They've been, I don't know whether they've been just finding the feet on their new pitch or what it is, but yeah, it's been difficult for them, you know.
Do you know what it is? I think that Dundalk game knocked the stuffing out of them as well. I think they knew they were home and house and they got caught. And I think that kind of knocked the stuffing out because that would have been huge in terms of the league standings. But yeah, very unfortunate. But hanging in there anyway. Treaty are going along well as well. Unfortunately beaten by Finn Harpstone 1-0, but had been playing really, really well.
I would have expected Treaty to win this. I thought Finn Harps, the best they could have got would have been a draw, but you know, fair play to them. They went out and got the 3 points, and massive 3 points for them on the road against Treaty. You know, Treaty would have been the informed team there. You know,
yeah, absolutely. And then Wexford picking up a win 4-3 against Kerry.
Mad game,
basketball game,
game. But sure, Kerry were 3-1 up, and then Wexford go down to 10 men, right? So Wexford are 3-1 down with 10 men, and they go on to win 4-3. It doesn't make sense. Like,
there's a lot to be said for game management, isn't there?
You know, if that makes sense. Like, so yeah, I think obviously if you're Kerry, you're bitterly disappointed that, you know, you're 3-1 down against 10 men and then you end up losing 4-3. There would have been a lot of head rolling there and stuff like that. So, but listen, I think Athlone are that bad. Listen, they've had a change of manager. The new manager's coming in and he's trying a few different systems out from what I can see. But yeah, I'd be very disappointed if I was Kerry.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I tried to get to Ballyshannon a few weeks back to see the Rory Gallagher annual concert for him.
Yeah.
Couldn't get a ticket.
They have that weekend every year up there, don't they? Yeah, it's meant to be very, very good.
I blame the Yanks for that. There we go. Just to let you know, folks, Inter Milan have crashed out of the World Club Cup, beaten by Fluminense 2-0. The goals by Canu on 3 and Hercules on 90+3. Inter Milan season going from bad to worse. Bad to worse. There we go. Yeah, what you thinking on this? Do you think this will tighten up a little bit more, or?
You know, if you're Cove, you obviously want to keep the pressure on Dundalk. I can just see Dundalk tipping away and keeping going. I think Bray, their drop off, good performance against Athlone, but like I say, Athlone have been very, very poor this season. Longford have been even though Longford are above Athlone, I think the performance have been even poorer than Athlone's, you know. So it'll be interesting. I just think Dundalk are too strong. Cove have still finished second. I wouldn't, obviously Bray are so many points ahead of Treaty that they're happy enough to be there. I can't see them catching Dundalk. So yeah, I think it's going to be as it is for now. I can't see anyone catching Dundalk, if I'm being honest. I know there's only 4 points in it, but I just think Dundalk's squad is too strong to be caught.
Yeah, it's going to need a few injuries or something, isn't it? Or going to need something to happen there to open it up a little bit, I think. Because they're generally, it's not often at the top level as well. You get a lot of surprises. You don't really but yeah, that's a roundup then for the Irish Premier League and Division 1 as well. So interesting times ahead and some big games coming up and stuff like that as well. And we'll keep an eye on the European scene as well with Shells as we go along as well.
Definitely.
So there we go, folks. Just a reminder as well, if you can, drop a follow or a like, whatever it is, on Facebook and Instagram for the boys. It's down there, BlackRock Social Group. And also the link is there for the tickets as well, if you could support them. And even if you can spare a few quid, if you can support them, even if you can't make the game, whatever way you want to do it, stuff like that, you know. But take advantage. Great to meet these legends of the game and stuff like that and all, as always. Also, again, a shout out as well that we're thinking of Eno and everyone involved. Johnny's really, really sick in hospital in an induced coma and stuff like that. I was messaging Eno today, really, really sad situation, stuff like that. So we're all praying and thinking about him and stuff like that he pulled through. And listen, we're thinking about all you guys, Soldiers of Fortune, the group and everything else, and obviously John's family and all this kind of stuff. So we'll keep you in our thoughts and prayers and hope that you pull through and stuff like that, and especially thinking of Eno at this time as well. So there we go. Take the last few comments. Roll me. We have Juventus in the Club World Cup. Easy work. Great show, lads. Loved it. Appreciate it. Love the comments, pal. Always appreciate it. Dino's in. Great show, lads. Thanks, Dino. Appreciate it, pal. Talk to you shortly. Praying for a speedy recovery. Absolutely.
Definitely.
So until next time, folks, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, drop a like in the video, and give your family a hug. You never know what's around the corner and stuff like that. Of course, pleasure as always. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Take care.